and welcome to my new video that has been a long time coming. Actually, it has been in the works for about a year. I have already filmed one version, but then I rewatched the footage and realized that the light was terrible, it was too long, and there was no plan. It was so unstructured, so I decided to re-record it, and here we are. So once again, my name is Evi. Actually, it's Evilena Protektore, but let's keep it short and casual, okay? I am delighted that you have decided to watch this video because I really believe that knowing stuff is crucial for modern vocalists. And today, we are going to talk about one of the things that might help you be more in control of your performances. The hero of today's video is this amazing stompbox called TC-Helicon R1. As the webpage says, it is, and I quote, I have the notes right here. Let me get this quote precisely. It is a single button stompbox for studio quality live vocal reverb. Now, I realize that it all sounds very nice and mighty, but let's take a little step back and try to dig a little deeper into what reverb as an effect really is. So, according to Wikipedia, let me read this one. Reverberation or reverb is created when a sound or signal is reflected, causing numerous reflections to build up and then decay as the sound is absorbed by the surfaces of objects in the space, which could include furniture, people, and air. In other words, when you are singing, your voice is being reflected by the room, and then the sound is being absorbed by all the things that you have in this room, like for example by these lovely panels with lights that you can see behind me, or like my clothing, or basically anything that you can find in the room that surrounds you. Now the sound is being reflected, and it slowly disappears and then fades away. Now the logical question here would be, why would I need something like this if I already have a lot of things that my voice could be reflected from? By? Oh god, I'm lost. So basically, your voice will definitely be reflected because you always sing somewhere in a space that has a lot of surfaces that might reflect your voice. Another scenario would be if you were singing in space or vacuum. Like, that's not really what happens to human beings. They don't survive in space without a spacesuit. Or then another option is that you might find yourself in a quiet room. And I'm not talking about the quiet room in a psychiatric ward. I'm talking about another kind of room, the room that has no reflections or echoes at all. And now this is going to be embarrassing for me because I got acquainted with this word only recently and I have no idea how to pronounce it, so I'm sorry for that in advance. Whew, this room is called anechoic chamber, like echo with no echo, like anechoic. Basically, it means exactly what it says. It's a room that has no echo, no reflection at all. But usually we don't do that. We don't sing in spaces like that, right? Now here comes the tricky part. When you sing with some kind of amplification, like with a microphone, your microphone usually catches only your voice, because when you are holding the microphone, you probably are going to hold it like very close to the mouth. So basically, the microphone will catch only the sounds that are going straight into the microphone. Well, of course, there are different kind of microphones. There are condenser microphones, there are dynamic microphones, and these kind of microphones, condenser microphones, I mean, they might catch a lot of sounds that are around you. But the most common choice for a singer if you want to sing in a club is the dynamic microphone, because a club usually has a lot of noises that might influence the quality of your performances. So you don't need that, you don't want that. So basically, when you sing through a microphone, the sound that comes out from the speakers when you sing in the microphone is dry, and you might want to embellish it with something like with a reverb. Why would you need the embellishments? Well, basically it's like going out without makeup, you know? You sing a song, but the listener hears the blank canvas. We don't want that. We want the listener to enjoy the fullest sound, right? So what usually happens in a club or in a concert situation is that there usually is a sound guy that sometimes, or most often than not, asks you about your preferences and asks for permission to use some modifications to your voice, like embellishments, like a delay or a reverb, and then he takes care of that himself. So you don't usually have to think about that. So if everything is so quickly and easily resolved, why would you need a reverb of your own? Easy, to take control of the situation. Now hear me out. There are different kinds of singers. There are classical singers, there are pop singers, jazz singers, rock singers, and etc, etc, etc. A lot of singers. The world of music is so huge that there are so many options. Classical singers usually don't think about amplification. They usually are in a completely different musical world. Then pop music is very different. Pop music can be very versatile, and that means that there are different types of pop singers. There might be pop singers like Gaga or Beyonce, and they also don't have time and the energy to think about stompboxes because they have to think about other things. They have to, think about dancing and creating a show and things like that. But then there are other pop singers, ones like, for example, Ed Sheeran, like singer-songwriter stuff. And these guys, they usually have a guitar, a lot of loopers, and these guys are the ones who usually take control of their own sound because they have the means to do that. They have their guitar, they have their pedal boards, and they are there in the spot and they can manipulate their sound however they want. And that doesn't mean that only pop singers, songwriters use these kinds of effects. There are a lot of other music styles and music subgenres that utilize effects. Then everything depends on what you want to do with your music, what you want to achieve. There are a lot of singers that know exactly how they want their music to sound. And that is when this kind of stompbox comes in handy. Now I'm going to stop using other singers as examples and to talk about myself because that way is just easier to explain what I mean. So how did I end up with the boxes I've got? And I might add that I have quite a few of those. Now, as I was starting out as a singer, I knew absolutely nothing about effects. It was totally blank. I had no idea what a reverb was, what a delay was. I used to come to a club, the sound guy would give me a microphone and I was singing it. I would say, I want to hear my voice louder in the monitor, and that's basically it. And then one of the bandmates suggested I use a delay in one of our songs, and I was like, what? A delay? What are you talking about? So I started exploring, I started reading up on the effects and I started testing them out, borrowing effects, and then I quickly concluded that I wanted to be the one in charge of my music. I wanted to be in control of how much and when the effects are used in my music. And that's when I started buying stompboxes and experimenting a lot. So now we are finally getting to the crux of this video, the TC-Helicon R1. Actually, this stompbox isn't mine, although I did give it as a gift to a friend of mine. She's a poet and she does shows with jazz musicians, improvised music, and spoken word. And at some point I thought that maybe I could, give her some additional tools to use in her music. I really thought that she might love it. And as far as I'm concerned, she does. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, she's awesome. I've linked her webpage in the description to this video, so go check her out. She has very interesting projects. So she allowed me to borrow her gift to use in this video demonstration, and also for me to, explore the world of TC-Helicon reverb. So let's finally talk about the R1. Actually, it has 6 siblings. They have the VoiceTone X1, a dramatic megaphone and distortion vocal effect. A VoiceTone T1, which is a stompbox for studio-mastered vocal tone, which serves as a real-time EQ for live vocals. The VoiceTone H1 for realistic guitar-controlled vocal harmony. You can guess from the description that it's a harmonizer that uses guitar chords for the harmonies. The VoiceTone E1 for compelling vocal echo effects. This is actually the one I've got, and I love it to bits, but we are not going to talk in detail about that one because I really want to make a separate video about that. So stay tuned for that. The VoiceTone D1 for realistic vocal doubling effects, and the VoiceTone C1 for flexible pitch correction. You can find all of these stompboxes on TC-Helicon.com webpage, and I will link the webpage in the description of this video. And maybe it will appear somewhere on the screen. So what really brings me joy is how quickly these stompbox are developing and how dramatically the quality of the sound increases, you know? And I'm not only talking about TC-Helicon, I'm talking about all the other manufacturers, because I remember when I first bought my very first stomp box and I started using it in my gigs like on a regular basis. A lot of sound guys were complaining like all the time. They said, what the hell, the sound is crippled and it doesn't sound really good. I mean, we know that you want to experiment, but maybe choose a different stomp box or something. Don't bring that here. But now, like some 10 years later, when I compare the first stomp box I ever gotten with the ones that are being produced now, the difference is so dramatic. I mean, the sound is amazing, and you can be completely sure that no sound guy will argue with you about using your stomp box in your gigs. But let's finally take a closer look at the stomp box that I have been holding in my hands for all this time. So let's start with the things I like about this stomp box. For starters, it's cute! Just look at that! It's so cute! It's so black and red! And oh my god! I mean, it's always awesome when the design is pleasing to the eye, right? But it's also cool when you don't really care about the design. I mean, it's better to have a beautiful looking stomp box instead of ugly piece of plastic. Now, on a more serious note, the first thing that I really appreciated about this stomp box is that it has a rubber lining along the edges of the stomp box. It means that when you put it on the floor where it's supposed to go, because it's a stomp box, you know, it's meant for the feet, for the floor, so it doesn't slide away because it has this rubber lining. I mean, it's sturdy, it's comfy, it's a bonus. Another thing that is awesome is that the connections are super easy. I mean, it has 2 holes. Okay, it has a little more. It has a power plug. It has a connection for the microphone when you plug your microphone into the effect to apply the effect. Then it has the mic out to connect it to the amplifier. And that's it. Oh no, I'm lying. I'm sorry. It also has a USB connection port, which allows you to update the firmware. Firmware. That's also the word I usually don't use in my everyday life, so I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that one. I have never tried to update the firmware, but if you have, and you know what that does to this kind of stomp box, the small ones, not the big ones, but the small ones, drop a comment in the comment section and explain it to me in simple terms, please. Thank you. And then I even might quote you in the description to this video. So the front panel is also very easy to use and understand. It also has only 3 sections. The first one is the knob that allows you to choose out of 8 different reverb types, and you just turn the knob and that's it. Basically, you're done. Another knob regulates the balance between the dry voice and the wet voice, which basically means the amount of reverb you want to apply to your voice. Easy. And there's the only button on the front panel, which is an on and off switch to turn your reverb on and off. There are 2 more options that you can take with the stomp box. On one side, you have the gain knob, and on the other side, you have the mic control button. The mic control button works with the MP75 microphone by TC-Helicon, which I also have here, and we are going to talk about that one a little bit later. Now let's talk about the gain knob. And I think that's very important to do that because I realized that not a lot of vocalists really know what gain is, and it's a crucial thing to know when you want to do some manipulations with your sound. So to keep it short, contrary to volume, which means how loud something is after it's being processed, gain is how loud something is before it's being processed. It's the level that is being sent to your preamps, amplifiers, and plugins, and also stomp boxes. The difference is that how loud something is after it's being processed doesn't really affect the tone of the sound. Now, how loud something is before it is being processed definitely will. If you want to dig deeper into the subject, and I urge you to do that because knowing stuff is always better than not knowing stuff, go and check out the link I have in the description to this video. Now, the main thing I don't like is that it's a floor unit. I mean, it's not really the stomp box's fault, it's just my preference. Why I don't like like the sound boxes. I don't like them because the moment you need to change something, you need to stoop down and then make adjustments. And when you're down there, you don't have the time to do the artistic stuff. That's why I like effects that are mountable on the microphone stand, or the ones that you can take in your hands, or the ones that you can put on the note stand. I mean, this one is small and pretty light, so you can easily place it on the microphone stand, so that's usually what I do. Because I like always tinkering with my effects. I don't like, turning on one specific effect and then forgetting about that. If you're okay with that, if you found your perfect combination and you want to just turn it on and off at times, then that's the right option for you. If you want to leave it on the floor, you can leave it on the floor. You can put it on the mic stand, not on the mic stand. If you can put it on the note stand and keep it there, I mean, whatever floats your boat, you do you. Another thing that usually bothers me with the stomp boxes is that they are meant to be used with the help of your feet, and usually when I'm doing my shows, I wear high heels, and just imagine trying to, press a button. Well, one of your legs is balancing on a high heel and then the other one is searching, where the hell is the button? How many times have I tripped over a wire? I mean, thank God I haven't fell, but I mean... Now, there's one tricky nuance that I've read on the webpage in the description to the stompbox. It says that it has phantom power, which is constantly on. But the tricky part is that it's not your regular 48 volts phantom power, it's actually 24. Personally, I'm not a sound engineer and I don't really deal with that kind of stuff on my day-to-day basis. I mean, I know my microphones, I know my pedals, I know what to do with them, and I know what to do in a gig situation, and I know how to do music, but all this technical stuff makes me itchy sometimes. I started asking, and I found out that the reason why you don't necessarily see 24 volts in your everyday life, because most of the condenser microphones use 48 volts. And if you take your condenser microphone and try to plug it into this kind of effect, it will not work. Or if it will be mighty quiet. So here's a mystery. Why would you need phantom power when you can't really use it, right? That's, weird, I think. Basically, that's it about the pedal. I mean, it's so easy that you don't really need user's manual, 5 minutes and you can, figure out where to plug what, and then you just start experimenting on, off. But let's take it the microphone that the manufacturers advertise as the perfect companion to your TC-Helicon effects. The webpage says that MP75 microphone is exceptional modern performance vocal microphone with mic control. Although it is advertised as a microphone to use specifically with the TC-Helicon product, it doesn't mean that you cannot use it as an independent microphone. If you plug it into your regular amp and, turn it on, it will work, and the sound will be quite nice, actually. And that doesn't come as a surprise that the sound is good, because TC-Helicon is known for being very friendly to vocalists, and thank you guys for that. I appreciate it. Let's unpack it. So it comes in a cute case, which is cool because I like cute things. So the microphone itself is very cute, it's very elegant, it's very comfy to hold in your hand. What makes this microphone special? Well, if you take a closer look right here, you will see a button. And this button is called mic control. The same name you've seen right here. No, not here. Sorry, right here. That's right, you guessed it. That is a button that activates this stomp box. This is a really useful feature, actually. If you don't need to be constantly adjusting the settings and you are wearing high heels and you don't want to be searching for that button to press with your elegant shoe, then this button really helps a lot, because you can keep it in your hand, you can keep the microphone in your hand, and while you sing you can elegantly press the button without anyone noticing a single thing, and the reverb is on, and then it's off, and then it's on, and then it's off, and then it's on, and then it's off. Another thing is that this mic control button works the same way as this, basically turning the reverb on and off, but one doesn't cancel out another. Basically, that means that you can do both at the same time. I mean, better not do it at the same time. I mean, if you're okay in the specific moment of time with pressing the button on the microphone, that's cool. But then maybe you are, your microphone is on the stand and you don't want to, stretch your hand towards the mic, and it's more comfortable to press the button with your shoe than do it with your shoe. I mean, you have both options available to you right now, and that's super cool, right? Now, the MP75 microphone works not only with this stomp box, it works with other effects that TC-Helicon produces, like Voice Live 3, Voice Live 2, Voice Live Touch 2, Voice Live Touch, Voice Live Play, Voice Live Play GTX, so Play Electric, Play Acoustic, Harmony, Singer, Mic Mechanic, Voice Solo, FX150, the voice tone singles, and so on and on and on. Now here's the tricky part. The specs for the microphone say that it's a dynamic mic. But then when you dig deeper into the description of the microphone, it says, and I quote, "The microphone itself is powered simply by the trickle of phantom power sent from your TC-Helicon processor." Usually, dynamic microphones don't need phantom power, but I suppose that's where these pesky 24 volts come into play. I have concluded that the phantom power that is constantly on in this R1 is the same amount of power that is needed to activate this button here. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how the mystery of the 24 volts phantom power is solved. Hurrah! Well, that has been a lot of talking. Now, let's plug in our reverb and listen how it all sounds. And then I will tell you what I think about it. And you can share your thoughts on the stompbox in the comment section. I have plugged all the wires in and I have made all the connections, and I have turned off the reverb. I have turned on the mic control button right here. So as you can see, I have this MP75 microphone, so basically you can hear how the microphone sounds, and I have to say that it sounds very nice. The sound is clear, clean, and I have no complaints whatsoever. Would I use it in my performances? Definitely. Now, does the button work? Let's try it out. Oh yes, it does! Wow, that is so cool. Now, I had the wet-dry knobs turned into the middle, which means that I have equal amounts of clean and processed voice. Let me sing something and turn the knob this and that way so that you could hear the difference. So I have the whole reverb, and let's try out the dry voice. The dry voice is basically the same if I turn the reverb on and off, so you can hear that it's a totally clean voice. Oh, not exactly. There is a tiny sliver of reverb somewhere in the background. That's not a problem, really. I don't think it's a problem, do you? So, let's try singing something. I am singing something and adjusting the level of the reverb. It sounds pretty nice. Yes, indeed, a lot of reverb, Let's get back to the middle. Kind of nice, right? Let's try going through all the types of the reverb that this stomp box has in it, and it has 8. And we'll go through all 8 of those. So let's try. I'll turn on the dry voice, and we are now in the whole reverb. And I am just going to sing this little phrase over and over again and trying out. This reverb sounds very nice. Let's go to plate. Okay, plate reverb, don't pay any mind to it here, because we were on the lockdown for the whole month and we were not allowed to go to the salon. Okay, theater. And I was too lazy to do my nails at home, so oh, that's interesting. Okay, the club. And now let's pretend that I'm singing in the club. Ooh, I'm in the club. Ooh, I'm in the club. Doing this, doing that, doing this and doing nice. Okay, and the room. Well, I am in a room right now, but let's see how the reverb thinks that the room should sound. I am in a room right now, in a room right now, maybe in 3 rooms at the same time, because the reverb is full on. Okay, then we've got the studio voice. Okay. Studio, 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 studio. Oh my god, my melodies are so stupid. But that's okay. The song I did as a demo for this reverb is much more interesting. So check out the link right here, or maybe here, or somewhere there. It will be called R1 demo track. And then the ambience. Ambience, 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 ambience. Cool. Okay. And then the arena. Oh, now I feel like Whitney Houston singing USA. The anthem ever created. Ooh, although I'm not Whitney Houston. Well, I think that was quite okay. What do you think? Okay, I'm not going to unplug everything, I'm going to leave it right here so you can enjoy the sound of the microphone and make your own conclusions. So, first of all, I have to say that this video is not sponsored by TC-Helicon. Actually, I'm not sponsored by anyone because I am not a YouTuber and I don't monetize these videos. I don't do that for a living, I do that because I like doing that and I like sharing the things I know with the people who might find the knowledge that I am sharing somehow helpful. So this video basically is just on my thoughts about this stompbox. As I said a couple of minutes ago in the arena or ambience or studio mode, somewhere there, I have a video where I have applied most of the effects that you can find on the stompbox to an actual song that I have composed specifically for this channel, for this video. So yeah, you can check out the link with the song that will be linked in the description or somewhere here. I don't know, somewhere here on the video. It's not an ad video, it's not me trying to persuade you to buy something, it's just my thoughts on the reverb, and I hope that you might find these thoughts helpful. Maybe this video will urge you to start experimenting with effects, because nowadays you've got so many options available to you, and I mean, that would be such a loss when you're composing your own music and you do nothing with it. I mean, be creative. That's what musicians are, creative people, right? So, would I buy this stompbox for myself? No, not because it's bad. It's not bad. It's a very decent stompbox. It's a very good stompbox, but it's not for me because I love delay more than I love reverb. But for someone who is not that into experimenting, this reverb might be a very good choice because sometimes naturally, all of us singers, we're not all super mega stars, and not all of us have the chance to perform in the larger concert venues or arenas or something. A lot of singers tend to have gigs in the smaller venues like clubs and cafes and bars and something like that. And let's be honest, most of them don't have their own, speakers. They might have some speakers, but they will be pretty crappy. Or they might not have a sound engineer, and you might be the one who is responsible for all the communications, all the connections, and all the sound. So it's always better to be safe than sorry. So you might, find it handy when you just place this little tiny box in your bag, take it with you to a club, and if you find that the club doesn't have the mixture with effects in it, then you can solve the situation quite easily because you just plug your own reverb in and that's it, you're ready to go. And also, I'm not saying that you cannot be creative with such a small stompbox. You can, you definitely can, because as you heard just now when we went through all the presets that it has, It provides you with a lot of options to use, and you can do whatever you like. You know, the world is your oyster. You can do whatever. Just be open to new possibilities, that's all. As I mentioned before, I am planning to do a video about another stompbox from the same series, the sibling of this R1, but the one that I like most, it's a delay. If you are interested in that one, stay tuned, maybe consider subscribing. I don't know, I will be happy to have more subscribers. I mean, if you are already subscribed, well, thank you. I'm very happy that you considered subscribing to me and that you enjoyed the videos I am posting. I really hope that things I am talking about here might help someone. So I hope this video was helpful and that this video was interesting. Check out the demo song I recorded specifically for this reverb. And if you want to share your thoughts on the R1 stompbox, please do it in the comment section and let's have a chat. And thank you for being with me. Thank you for staying until the end of the video. Love ya. Mwah. Bye bye. All the types of the reverb. God, reverb. Let's go to... Why can't I speak?